but he cares about mentoring to young people. He's written a couple books, which he'll get into here in a minute. But one thing that is I found interesting is both of his books have been nominated for 2024 Pulitzer Prize. Wow. And he's currently working on his next book with a planned publication date in 2025. He has certificates in cybersecurity, user interface, user design, and social media marketing. Furthermore, he has extensive experiences in graphic design, video production, software development, database management, communication, public speaking, and conflict resolution. Why weren't you helping us just these past few minutes? You have all these skills and
I cost too much.
But you're not young.
I guess not. So everybody give a round of applause to Mr. Bill Wong.
Good morning, everyone. I think I could have played a pickleball game in less time than they had to do the setup. Thank you very much, Craig. As Craig was saying, I did write a book and I authored and published a book, Why I Hate and Love Pickleball, in 2023. And that was one of my goals for last year. And that's the book. I'm going to start with, all of you inspire me. Believe it or not, what you do day in and day out helped me to write my book. Christy, Elizabeth, Craig, you guys aren't getting royalties, but you guys inspire me. And that I noticed that when I was playing pickleball, that there was a lot of conflict on the pickleball court. And I wanted to fix that and adjust that. And I noticed there were similar conflicts that were happening in corporate America. So that's what I wanted to address in this book. So in many ways, this book is a challenge to readers. So I'm going to do two things. First, we talk a little bit about pickleball. How many people have ever played pickleball? All right. And have anyone ever who's heard of pickleball? Okay, great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about pickleball and how I think they're similar to business. So first of all, pickleball is a relatively old sport. It was invented in 1965 in Seattle. It's played on a court that's about 2/3 the size of a tennis court. But there's two main differences. The net's a little bit lower, and there's these two areas called the non-volley zone line that when you're in that area, you cannot step in it and hit the ball before it bounces. It's usually played, now I'm not a young man, so a lot of older people play the sport, and it's played with 4 people. So I'm pointing at a screen, so this isn't going to help you, but there's two sides on the court, a left and a right, so there's 4 people playing. And you can play singles, but I'm too old to play singles, so I depend on my partner. And many times in business, we depend on our partner, whether they like it or not, and whether we like it or not. Because invariably, what's going to happen is the things that we are weak at is going to mess us up. And we talked about this with Elizabeth the other day. So we need a partner and to fix or address some of the skills that we're missing. So in pickleball, and I'm going to hit to this guy all the time. In pickleball, usually it's almost like poker. And I used to play poker. I've won a couple poker tournaments. I was a semi-pro poker player. If you don't know who the bad player is, it's probably you. And in pickleball, it's true. And in pickleball, they quickly figure out who the worst player is and they hit to them. And if you start getting a lot of balls, you're probably the worst player. And Elizabeth told me an interesting story the other day that a lot of times she helps people or encourages people to do business plans. And a master chef might come in and say, I want to start a restaurant. They're really good at cooking. But they don't know about marketing. They don't know about payroll. They don't know how to motivate an individual. Those lack of capabilities is probably what's going to mess them up. And the same thing that's happening on a pickleball court. My partner on a pickleball court and in the corporate world, I'm going to depend on. So say, for example, Craig's sitting up here up front. And we had that chart before where we're playing on a side and make believe I'm on Craig's on the left-hand side. I'm on the right-hand side. Craig's really good with his forehand, which is this stroke right here. My backhand's not so good. He's going to help me and cover my weaknesses, which is what your partner should be doing. But I need to depend on him. So I had this situation about a month ago where this young man, he's Samoan, named Jared. He goes, you know what, Bill? When I play with you, I play better. I go, why is that? Because I don't want to let you bow down, and I want to bring up my game. All right. I like that. And when I play against you, I play better. Why is that? Because I don't want to get my ass kicked. Right. So your partner needs to bring you up. I'm going to need to depend on Craig to take some balls because maybe my backhand's not strong. But I had a situation with a business partner where I was really overloaded. I was doing some development. And he said, look, let me do the taxes. All right. Okay, go for it. Come April 14th, where are the taxes? Wasn't done. Wasn't taken care of. So I had to step in and take care of it. We depend on our partners, and we have to make up for the areas that we are weak in. So I had multiple editors. I have a team, believe it or not, when I write. So obviously my writing's important, but I had 4 editors: an evaluation editor, a development editor, a copyright editor. I had a formatter. I had a graphic artist because I couldn't design that cover before. I mean, I understand that is not one of my skills. I need someone else. I need to hire somebody. I need to be self-aware. So my editor, she worked for National Geographic. Serious, she really knows what she's doing. I gave her my notes or my pages, and she took about 4 to 5 weeks to read it. She comes back and says, I have your notes. Okay, great. I'm not going to give it to you right now. What? Why not? I want you to tell me what your book's about. Pickleball? No, it's not. Call me in 2 or 3 days and tell me what it's about. So I hang up on the phone and I think it's about firing her. No, that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought it was about. And I called her up and I said, I know what it's about. It took me a few days. I said, my book is about courage. My book is about commitment. My book is about communication in a community, and it's a challenge to people. She goes, yes. You did not, she used a different word, you did not effing write that. This is what you wrote, but you had little snippets of that. So I need you to go back, take my notes, and write that book. So I went back and wrote the book. So she had to tell me, and I had to be open-minded enough to listen to somebody and get better. So I just talked about 4 or 5 C's, which is one of them is courage. I needed to have the courage to be able to listen to her, especially if she knows what she's doing. She was an editor for the National Geographic, right? From researching my book, and I have more than 150 references, about 100 academic references. Belief is so important that you need to believe in yourself, but you get belief by little snippets of successes. And the one thing that was really interesting to me, because I'm a man, is that men in general, they have more belief and often less competence. Women, on the other hand, have more competence and less belief. And I see this in my 24-year-old daughter. She graduated from UT with a degree in computer science, of which I can never do. She was a 2-time All-American. Whenever I see her, it's like, oh, I'm not so good. She's a pro pickleball player right now. She was on TV the other day. I'm not so good. And I was like, really? You can kill me. When we play, I can't keep up with her. And she doesn't have this confidence. And I wanted to write that in my book because I think a lot of times we do not understand the differences and we need to be aware of it. So I need to be more supportive when I'm doing my business to the women in my organization. I have some billers and I have some nurse practitioners, telling them and being sincere that I believe in you. You are good. Because for some reason, I don't know why, but the science shows this, that they don't have the confidence that they should, because they're very competent, but they don't have that confidence. So, and again, being self-aware of yourself, understanding where your weaknesses are, because if you don't know where your weaknesses are, you can't fix them. I had this one situation with a gentleman named Jeff. We're on the court, and I wrote a book on positioning in pickleball. I wrote a book and I talked about positioning, where to be on the court. And many times he was on the court that made his shots from a hard shot to an impossible shot, just by where he was putting himself on the pickleball court. So all I said to him was these 3 words: move with me. Move with me. Because if you're too far back and someone hits a ball down to you, you tend to hit it up and the other person's going to put it away. You don't want that. Just move with me. This is what his response was. Is that why we're effing losing? Is that why we're effing losing? I didn't have a response to that, because I'm trying to communicate. I wrote a book. I practice with professional pickleball players. Why? Is that why we're effing losing? And even this morning, before I came here, I've worked out, I've done push-ups, I've done stretch. My arms are killing me. I have a commitment to my craft, which is not only business, but to pickleball. Next time I happen to play with Craig, he was no different. He didn't have the goals, which we were talking about before. Right? Achievable, measurable. He did not do that. So how do you think? Was he better or worse, do you think? He's the same. That doesn't help me as my partner. Communication. It's really, I look for people who can communicate. Even a minute ago, I texted, we have a Viber chat. I texted to my assistants, I cannot talk to you for the next hour because I'm doing a presentation. Well, I didn't realize it'd be an hour and 15 minutes, but thanks, Fred. But I said, I'm unavailable. I communicated. I was on the court with this young man, very, very athletic. And as I was saying before, if Craig's on the left-hand side, he's going to cover with his forehand. So there was a ball right in the middle. This young man said, yeah. Now, I had no idea what yeah meant. I don't know if it means, yeah, I take it. Yeah, you take it. What he should have said was mine, yours. Mine, yours. Clear. All he said was yeah. So I started moving toward it, but my backhand's not bad. He started moving toward it. I backed up because one time I was on the court and this woman came from where that board is and I hit her right across the face. Fortunately, there was 2 paramedics on the court, 2 down over, and the blood everywhere. And she goes, oh, I lost my sense of where I was. And I slashed her right here because I was right here and I hit her. I felt terrible. So do you think that's in my mind? Yeah, it is. So I backed off and neither one of us took it. You have to be clear and communicate. And his movement, even though he didn't say a word, was communicating to me. Just like my partner, him not doing the taxes. Do you think he's serious or not serious? He's not serious. He's not serious. So community. And this is why I love all of you, because this is a community. I was on the court just last week with a woman named Yolanda. Older woman, and she just got off the court with somebody. And talk about pointing fingers. Craig said this before, pointing fingers, making her feel bad. How did you miss that? That's what happened to this woman right before when she got on the court with me. She goes, oh, I'm really sorry. You're getting the short end of this. I go, what are you talking about? Oh, this is my first time playing. And, it's like, don't worry. This is for fun. Don't worry about it. Do you think she felt better by me saying, don't worry about it, just play. We're here to have fun. Do you think she felt better or worse?
Worse.
She felt, actually, I was saying it's okay.
Okay, gotcha.
I was saying it's okay. So somehow we won. Somehow they hit to me, of which we won the point. They hit to her, she won the point, and we won. She gave me the biggest hug. afterwards because it's a community. It is more important to me that she feels better than winning a dumb game. And that's how we all should be. How are you making the other person feel who either worked with you? I went to a session one time and they said, it's not what you say, it's how you make someone feel. Right? So this was more important to have that community with Yolanda than winning a dumb pickleball game. But do you think she's going to remember that? I saw her recently. She goes, hey, Bill. And I'm like, she was wearing a hat. I didn't recognize her at first. Hey, it's Yolanda. Oh, hey. Because it's part of a community. That's why I love you guys, by the way. So what I just talked about is a challenge that we can be more, not only with setting goals, achievable, measurable, but to be more and to do more, right? But here's the caveat. When I get on the court, even though most people, they hit to the weakest player, I'm not going to hit to Yolanda. Well, how does that make me any better? Because it makes her feel bad. I'm hitting to the best player I can because I want to get better. You know how many people have said to me, Bill, what are you doing? You're hitting to the best person out there and we're losing. Well, yeah, because I want to get better. This game right here, an open rec play does not matter. I want to get better. And each one of us are trying to get better by what we do every day and how we work on our craft. So just to summarize, we talked about pickleball. Pickleball's played on a court about 2/3 the size with 4 people. And it's similar to business in that we have this conflict resolution. You need to depend on people, excuse me, right? And we talked about the 5 C's: courage, commitment, community, a challenge. I forgot the other one. I'll make up one: candor. All right. So here's my contact information. Oh, I forgot something. I wrote, oh, here we go. I wrote on the bottom of a cup the word win, a coffee cup. Whoever got that cup with the word win on it wins a pickleball book. And I know who it is if she would look at it. So she wants a autograph book. And so she's the winner. And like I said, I have been fortunate in talking about goals we talked about before. I had a goal that I wanted to write a book. I also, in my mind, I said, I don't want to be embarrassed if the Pulitzer Committee, of which they will look at both of my books, if they read it. That is the last thing I want. And I did not self-filter where I said, okay, they would never, ever award me a Pulitzer. And they shouldn't, to be honest with you. But at least I am trying, and I had the courage to write the book and to submit it and to get accepted. And that's what we all need to do to be part of a community, to have courage, to have commitment, maybe candor, and do what we need to do so we work on our craft. Do you have any questions? Oh boy, but I don't have no answers. Oh, okay, sure.
Was
I was just gonna make one comment,
Go ahead.
though.
Yes, ma'am.
If like you were saying, if you hit to the weakest person, that person's never gonna go back and try it again. So by you going to the person who's the best, shows them that this game is something that they can learn. But if you're always hitting her and they're losing or they're doing bad, they're gonna look at that game and say, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my whole entire life. Why would I ever do that again?
Discouraging.
Yeah, they would never want to do it. So very great to, it's a great way to think.
But a lot of times at least I've noticed, sometimes we don't do that.
Yeah, no, I know.
And like I said, somebody was admonishing me saying, why are you doing that?
Yeah,
And of rare breed says that's what we should be doing. And people who've read my book, they go, yeah. It's because, and I communicate. When I got on the court, I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. Is that okay? And you want somebody self-aware who wants to get better that's the kind of partner you want, right? Not only on business, but in life, but on the pickleball court.
Cool. Another question in the back.
Now, you made a very significant remark and strategy about partners. How did you get your partners? Because I've noticed they were very significant for what you were doing and in the book that you wrote.
Now, are you saying partners for pickleball, partners in my business, or partners in writing?
Well, for your writing, because you mentioned about the National Graphic, the lady had done work for National Graphic. So these prestigious people that come into your life, is there like links that people can use to get partners to kind of say, well, I think I'll try this person now. Then you also mentioned about paying the people who help you.
Right.
So if the business is just starting out, what would you suggest? How do you get partners? What do you look for? You've talked about some of the characteristics, but I'm trying to figure out, I need partners. I want good partners. I want somebody who's accountable. I want somebody who cares.
So let me see if I can recap that for the Zoom folks in case they couldn't hear. The question that was asked from the back was the how Bill finds his partners, whether they're paid partners, how a new business would go about finding partners. So
You asked almost two questions. I'll go, I'll try to answer them if I can. As far as writing, I had to do, first, it has to start with me. What I am not good at. It's that self-awareness and having the courage to look hard at yourself. I don't like looking at myself in the mirror. It's not a pretty picture. But I have to do that to understand who I am and what I'm not good at. Today doesn't mean tomorrow. I am a much better writer today than I was 6 months ago or even yesterday. I am a better writer. So it starts with me having an understanding of myself. And in my book, I actually have a framework of how to pick pickleball partners, and I called it 7 H's. Some of them deal only with pickleball, but some of it is heart, their desire, their ability to hear, right? The harmony of how well you get together with that other person, where if I say something that, oh, that's a great idea, talk about that. I hear you. What about this? Oh yeah, I hear that. And we're better. So I want that. I want somebody who is going to make this better than I could ever imagine, who's going to build on what skills I have, because actually I have 2 or 3 skill sets. One, I'm a very hard worker and I'm creative. But I need somebody to say, oh, Bill, you're walking off a cliff on that one. And I even had in my book, I wrote about a dragon, a 40-foot dragon in a pickleball book, a real dragon, and basically in Ireland. And I was waiting for my editor to say, Bill, where are you going with this? I wanted to talk about that we all have things that we are not good at, and we need to face them. It is the hero's journey. And I purposely put that in there. And I waited for every single editor to say, no, no one did. I left it in there. It's nice writing. I really am proud of that. So what it's like I'm going to get to your question, your answer, but I think it starts with you. Then there's people out there. For example, in writing, there's this, I guess it's a marketplace, a network to find editors, graphic artists. And it's interesting. The graphic artist I use for my company is the same one I use for my book, because he's fast. He listens to me. He knows where I'm coming from, and we work well together. But it's so hard, at least I have found, to find a partner because you have a different way of approaching stuff, or you might not have the same seriousness, or your skill set. Like my skill sets today is I'm still going to have an editor, but I'm a much better editor today. So, and as I was talking about before, as far as technology, I'm okay, but certain things I have a deficiency. So you have to have a understanding of yourself, what you're looking for, and then have a feeling of what this person, what they're going to bring to the table, and whether you work well together. Because there's so many times when I've had pickleball partners and tennis partners who I think I am excited about this one. And it was terrible. For some reason, either they were, oh, you missed that shot. What's wrong with you? Where were you? Or they don't communicate, or they're not willing to understand that they need to communicate. I don't want to hear, yeah, I want to hear yours and mine. I want to hear that, hey, dude, give me some, man. That was beautiful.
Nice.
Right? And how you think he's going to play better or worse? He's going to play better. And so many times, just the other day, I was somewhere. Oh, I was at a writer's group, and we were talking about how for this next book, I am doing this. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain cramp right now. I'm setting out and organizing my book. And she is a great writer, but she's not organized. So you might want to do these screenshots or these planning. And she started doing that. It's like, dude, so good. Right? Because I know she's good at writing, but she's not good at organizing. Two different things in editing. So we need to have an understanding. And like I said, I don't like looking at myself in the mirror. Right? And I think a lot of us are like that, or maybe some of the people who they're good looking, but I don't like looking at myself.
You got time for one last question.
All right.
Go ahead.
Raised my hand earlier and he said he didn't have any answers, so. Bill, so you've got 2 books and you're working on the 3rd one.
Yes.
I have 5 and working on the 6th one.
All right.
And question I have is, do you sell your books or do you give them away as, you use them as lead magnets, or do you make money selling the books? I'm just curious how you employ strategies to, to bring folks in the door. This is great what you did here. Thank you for the great presentation. But I'm curious, do you sell them more? Do you give more away?
I do both. Now,
okay.
this is what I do. And I'm sure every single one of you have a mission of why you're doing what you're doing. I know Elizabeth does. I know Craig does. I know Christy does. So my mission, I don't want to go into, but I have a mission. So to answer your question, I do both. I give away books. Just the other day, I've created an award, and I just gave my first award in 2023, and I nominated someone to an award for 2024, and I give them a book. Basically, it was a teacher who was fired or quit because they weren't being supportive in the school district, right? So I gave them a book, my poetry book. My book is called Our Unkept Promises. So I called the award Our Kept Promises, where she kept the promise to help the community for communication. And so to answer your question, I do both. I do signed books and I give them to them. I send a couple books to, Mark Cuban, seriously, I got a note from LeBron James. I sent one to Tom Brady, to Mark Cuban, to some other people, and there's something called the MLP, which is Major League Pickleball, and they are either owners or serious pickleball players. I sent one to Bill Gates, haven't heard back. But so I'm doing both. I'm even giving them away, signing them, and obviously I do want to sell some so I can do these other things. But
Very good. Well, Bill, thank you very much.
thank you, guys.
I'm going to transition quickly to Jason for our calendar. If you can update us real quick.
Yep, give me just 1 second. I
And Jason, as you're pulling that up, I'm just going to remind everybody to make sure you like, follow, and share the 1MC in all the social media positions or social media sources. Make sure you do that.
all right. So we have next Thursday on January 18th, free business workshop, mastering chat GPT and AI technologies. It is looks like a virtual only, and it is kind of getting caught up on the latest advancements with that and new features and kind of just coaching on that, man. Besides our Wednesday event, which is with Shine Bright Experiences, that is all the stuff I have on the calendar.
All right, great. Thank you, Jason.
Uh-huh.
And always, we're looking for presenters. We've got several in the works right now, but we're always looking for new presenters. So if you'd like to share what you're doing. Okay, great. We're good. We got another one that raised her hand. She's going to present her story or get scheduled for that as well. So we always want to know new businesses, what they're doing, as well as ones that have presented previously to come back and present again. And I was reminded yesterday when the organizers met that it's been over a year since I've last presented. So I probably need to give you an update on what I'm doing with my business. So I'll be putting my name in there as well, but we're always looking for new presenters and presenters to give us updates. And next week, our speaker will be Shine Bright Experience. And so we're looking forward to that. And I think,
So my question was, I saw that online where you applied to be a presenter, but I also saw in there that you have to have your business for like 5 years, and I forget what the other part of it was saying. So I guess my
We'll waive
question-
that requirement.
Okay.
Actually, under 5 years.
Yeah. I think
under 5 years, I think.
Okay, now here's the other question. I don't know if I need to wait after that. But does it weigh in on the success of the business when it comes to either service or products?
So really,
Okay.
really one of the things that is so beneficial, I think, for the 1MC organization is a business shares a little bit about what their business is, but really shares an issue that they need help with, a problem that they're stuck on, and the community will ask you questions to help you get past that and help you find solutions. So it's really very much a supportive environment. So it's not a presentation like a sales presentation. It's a presentation of this is what I'm stuck on and what I need help with. Yeah, how
Okay,
we
I
can
got
help you.
that part of it, and I guess the other part of the question would be that, yes, when you presenting, you're wanting to get your questions answered. But does it matter how, based on who I am, does it matter how the engagement part of it would work during your presentation?
I don't think it does matter. I think the important thing is getting in front of people and just being open and sharing what your experience is. And wherever you're at, we can help you get to where you want to get to. And that's really what we're trying to do.
I mean, you've done panels before. If it's a better way for you to get up there and Craig ask you questions and have a panel base, like, so, like, remember what you did with,
David Gurno.
David?
Yeah.
That was a good way, because they group ask questions that might help you figure out how to solve some of your problems if you don't have an exact way to present what you're doing.
But you can get with any of the organizers. We're happy to work with you to help you get prepared for that, bounce ideas across us and even practice if that helps. Another
And
question.
remember, you don't have to have a presentation.
Right.
That's important to know also. You don't have to have a presentation. You can
That's a
just
good
get up
point,
and
Michon.
speak.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a formal presentation. Just get up and speak. Yeah.
Kind of a twofold, thank you. And to kind of add, when I had the privilege of speaking October, November timeframe, and in that timeframe, I had a lot of great comments. I had a lot of good recommendations and introductions. Jack with the chamber, I've been very involved with him, and even through the holidays, as crazy as it's been. So, you know, a lot of doors were opened as far as introductions of people I need to meet. I do a lot of seminars. And again, extending to any of y'all need any kind of financial solutions, credit education, those type of things. I'm trying to get just my word out there, my education out there. So my presentation has helped me multi-dimensional.
Great. So a good testimonial that the 1 million cups process works. And so thank you for that. And I think we're out of time because we're 3 minutes past. So I'm going to thank everybody and then we can have additional discussion after we wrap up. Thank you. Yes.
So at this point, I just want to just reconfirm with Craig, are we doing the networking now, going back into Engage?
No, because we exhausted our networking.
Okay.
For this morning.
Okay. I just wanted to know, but we'll do it next week, starting next week.
Right. Very
Okay.
good. Thanks,
Good
Michelle.
deal. All right, thank you. All right, you all, see you next week. And remember to use the new link.
Have a good one.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.